Hello, United States! It is week 4 here in Arezzo, and I forgot to vlog last week and also didn't have time to, so here I am, vlogging for the past 2 weeks. Um, so 2 weekends ago, we went to Cortona, which is like 36 miles from here. I don't know. It's like pretty close. Anyways, so you get to you like take the train to the bottom of the hill because Cortona is this town that is on a mountain, and you take the train to the bottom of the mountain, and then you can either take a cab or a bus up to the top of the mountain, or you can walk the whole thing. And so we walked the whole thing because it was beautiful and wonderful, and you you can see like if you look over the view, you can pretty much see, I would say, like the majority of Italy. Probably not, but like a pretty big surrounding area. And we kind of just walked around the town for the day and like ate food. We first went to this restaurant. What's it called? Osteria del Teatro, which is this Osteria del Teatro, which which is what? Yeah, I know, I got it. There are people in my room right now, so anyways, we went to this restaurant, and apparently it's like a pretty famous restaurant. It's like opera themed. Could you close the door? You're the best. It's opera themed, and it's really nice. And see, I got ravioli with salmon and strawberries, and then panna cotta, which is like a type of pudding thing. And it was lavender flavored with strawberries on top. There's a mosquito in our room right now. Um, and then we walked into the bathroom at this place, and there were dolls all over it, like porcelain dolls. And it was the most terrifying moment of my entire life. And I like had to talk to Taylor through the entirety of me peeing. And then there was one point where I saw this one doll that was smiling in the mirror and just wanted to cry. So that's that. Um, that was that weekend. Wait, no, we did more. We went to like a bunch of museums. There was one we went to that was like ancient Cortonian history. Yeah, Etruscan history. Yeah. And so we saw that, and then we saw a contemporary art gallery, which was kind of cool. This guy was like inspired by Van Gogh, but it was all contemporary, so it was like sort of his style, but then we used like a bunch of bright colors. So that was cool. We also saw some we went to another museum that had like a famous painting in it, a Jesus painting of the angel telling Mary that she's gonna have a baby. I don't remember the name of it. And then we walked up to a fortress, and the fortress had like a small museum inside of it. And we went in there, and then we walked on top of the fortress and like looked over the entire city, which was super cool. It was really windy, and then we walked down and found like a good spot and watched the sunset, which was super cool. Um, one of my friends who had done the program before told us to do that and like made sure that we did it. And so that was probably my favorite part of being here so far. We just like sat there and watched it go down. Um, and then last week, to start the week, like what did we do? We did some workshops during the past 2 weeks about art and activism, which is cool. We learned about comedy. And we also started our cabaret pieces. Cabaret is like kind of like a more structured open mic night thing, except everything's more prepared. So that's cool. We started those things, and Taylor and I are doing a piece, and that cabaret is on this Thursday, and it's a piece about body image. And so we interviewed a bunch of people, and printed out those interviews and asked them for like one word that people use to silence them. And so we're taking those words and then writing them on it's me, Taylor, and one of our friends, Laura. We're writing them on each other's bodies in lipstick. Um, so that's gonna be cool. There'll probably be pictures and videos that I will not be able to put in here because I don't know how to edit videos, but they will be on Facebook some point. And then beginning of last week, I went into town one night and just played card games with some local Italians. So that's pretty cool because one of my friends here like works here, and so he's friends with a bunch of people who live in town, and we played card games with them. And I got to like speak Italian, and that was a really cool experience because I haven't really gotten to talk to many people yet because I don't speak Italian. Um, and then pretty much the rest of the week was class, and then Thursday morning we left for Milan, and I actually wrote down the stuff we did in Milan because I was gonna forget. I bought this nifty little notebook. This is the Black Rose. It's a painting by someone, Janis Kounelis. That's probably not how you pronounce it, but that's who painted this, and it's in one of the art galleries that we went to. It was like a contemporary art gallery. It was like art from the 1900s, and it was pretty cool. We saw some Picasso and some other famous people who I don't remember the names of, but it was still really awesome. And then we toured. Wait, I'm gonna start from the beginning of the trip. We went to the Contemporary Art Museum, and we went to the Duomo, and it's one of the main Duomos in Italy. The main one I think is the one that's in Florence, but this one is another one. And so we toured like a mini museum first, and that had replicas or like reconstructions of all the stuff that's either on or inside of the building, and so you can see it a lot closer. That was cool. And then we went and actually inside the Duomo. If you like paid a bunch of money, you could walk around the top of the Duomo, but we didn't do that. We just went inside. But it is super amazing. And then after that, we checked into this hostel, which was really cool. I Snapchatted it, but it's very Americanized, but they have like a bar and they gave us free drinks when we got there, and there was like ping pong and board games and stuff downstairs for us to play, and there was really great Wi-Fi, which is amazing because the Wi-Fi here sucks. And all of the walls were like covered with this wallpaper that looks like old newspapers cut up and pasted all over the walls and then painted on top of that. So that was super cool. And then they have aperitivo every night, which is like it's kind of an appetizer thing, but they use it as dinner at this place, I think. Unless people just go out for dinner afterwards. But you just buy a drink and then they have a bunch of food there and you just get a plate and eat as much as you want, which is super cool. Oh, it was Taylor's birthday, so we went out and got pizza after the aperitivo and gelato, and the pizza we got was super amazing. It was like really thick Sicilian type pizza, and it was super good. And then Friday, we went with the entire school because it was a school trip that we did, and we toured the La Scala workshop. The La Scala is the main opera theater in Milan, and it's like super famous Italian theater. So we looked at all of the set designs and costumes. We toured the costume shop and saw like the scale models of the sets. We met Arlecchino. Arlecchino is like one of the Commedia characters, and we're studying Commedia, which we just started today. And so this guy has been playing Arlecchino for a really super long time, and he's apparently famous, but we didn't know that. At first, our student leader was just like, "Hey, let's get a picture with this guy," and so we did. And then she was like, "That was Arlecchino," and so that was cool, I guess. Now that that's what we're studying. After that, we kind of had the day free, and so me and Taylor went to the Pinateca, which means picture museum, and it's this really big art museum in Milan that's pretty famous. It had Dead Christ in it, which is apparently a famous Jesus painting. I had never heard of it before, but Taylor had studied it, so that was awesome. And then they'd also had the Kiss, not the one by Klimt, but by someone else. It's like a Renaissance painting of a man who looks kind of like Robin Hood kissing a woman. It was pretty. After that, we went to the Castello, which is this gigantic castle that they turned into a museum. And the museum took us like 3 hours to walk through because it had so many exhibits. Um, there was a musical instrument portion of it, which was my favorite. It had like the history of different musical instruments and then a whole bunch of representations of all those and how they're made and stuff like that. We saw the last statue that Michelangelo created, which he never finished. I don't remember the name of it, but got pictures of it. It's like Mary carrying her son as he's dying, and like the figures are really thin and it looks like they're kind of merged together. And then we also saw a Da Vinci painting, which was a giant tree. And it was this room we walked into, and the tree was like on the ceiling and on the tops of the sides of the wall. It was kind of an abstract painting. We didn't realize it was Da Vinci at first, and so like we went back into the museum trying to refine it, and then they were like, that was it. So, yep. And then we also saw Dante's Divine Comedy, like the original version, which is super awesome. That's probably my favorite part of the weekend because English major, super cool. We went to a chocolate cafe for lunch, and they had these really adorable button cookies, which is great because button girl. And then what else did we do? We went to a small cafe, and we had these like little tiny dessert tort things that were really good, and we had a really cute waiter, and they had Wi-Fi. It's a great place called Jukova, and it had a bread ceiling. Like this entire ceiling was covered in like small loaves of bread. And then that night we saw a show called Le Kung Fu, which was like a one-man show about this guy from the Congo. Yeah, his journey to becoming an actor out of poverty. But it was all in French with Italian subtitles, so it was a little hard to follow for me. But Taylor was trying to explain it to me the whole time what was going on. And then we went to the bar, hung out. And then the next day was the last day we had there, and we went to the Da Vinci Science and Technology Museum, and there was a lot of space stuff. There was a piece of the moon there, which was cool. And then we ate at the same restaurant again, the same cafe. But we had lunch there this time, and I got pear and pine nut gnocchi, and it was so good. Probably one of the best things I've eaten here so far. I think so. Okay, so that was probably like the most concise vlog I've ever done because I actually wrote the stuff down this time. But basically we started the main portion of what we're going to be doing here today. We started the Commedia class, and it's a 4-hour long class, and we're basically starting to work with improvisation. We haven't touched the masks yet, but we started to at the very end of class, and I think that's what we're going to do tomorrow. We also are doing contact improv workshops all this week, which I'd done like once before at school, but now we have an entire 2-hour class devoted to it. So it's going to be a super crazy week, and maybe I'll write some of it down so I can actually make a vlog at the end of the week. But we are going to Rome this weekend so I can go visit Dane, which is so exciting, and we're going to go see all the spots and stuff, so I can try to take some videos and stuff of that and put that up. Yeah, this is the longest vlog I've ever made. I'm sorry it's 14 minutes long, but that is 2 weeks long worth of stuff. There you go. Maybe start making vlogs. Please and thank you. Bye. Ciao.